Hello, everybody out there. Welcome back to another excellent episode of In Bed with Comics. I am your host and fellow comic, Kristen Tinsley. Sorry about last Thursday, but I actually had some things that I needed to do as far as getting ready for my show on Saturday. And if you missed that show, you suck. You suck. You totally suck. You missed a really, really good show. But anyway, tonight is going to be an even better show because tonight I have a very special guest. Once upon a time, there was a Marine that kicked off his combat boots and stepped on the stage of comedy. Performed on stages, Governors in the Little Room, Coaster's Tavern and East Meadow, Broadway Comedy Club, Greenwich. He said he did a show in Brooklyn, but I don't know the name of it, but he was there in Brooklyn. And he also performed a comedy show at the VA hospital in Queens. Please welcome Ely Velazquez. Oh, you have to unmute yourself. You do it. Unmute yourself.
Boom.
There you go. Oh, see, you had to do that, didn't you? You could not just give me control of letting me mute you. Just not once. You could not do it.
Only I can unmute myself.
Unbelievable. How did you totally genie my Teresa? Stop messaging me because it's annoying and it's going to come through on my audio. Huh. Teresa says hello. Hi, John Battle.
Hello, John B. What's up, baby?
Hello, John Battle. So how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Doing very well.
That's good.
Are you high right now?
Yes, very high actually. Got my Darth Vader, little bong hit thing.
You have a Darth Vader bong? And how come you've never posted a picture of that before? After all that Star Wars talk, you keep that hidden secret. I don't get it.
Yeah, look, first of all, I don't need to post everything I got or I do, but at the same time, if you're a real fan, I don't need to show it to the world. I know I'm a fan. And you know what? That's my smoke buddy. Sometimes I forget I smoke weed.
Oh, okay. I understand. I get it. Yeah, I get it.
I should have posted it though. I hate it. I should have posted it.
See? So, Ely, first question. Now that we know how you are, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you love stand-up comedy?
1 to 10? Oh, 1 million.
You only get 10. Bastard.
I love comedy. I give it a 10.
Okay. All right. So, who, as in comedy? I knew it. There she is.
She's there.
So funny. Yang Yang, come here. Oh my God. I totally want, hold on to her. I want to see. Yang Yang, come here.
Come on, baby.
He ran away. Hold on to her. I want the two of them to see each other so that they can see like what a female version of herself was like. Hold on. Yang Yang. No. That's what you would look like. Oh my God. That's what you would look like as a girl right there.
Man.
Aww. She's so cute. Hi, Luna. Yeah, these two look exactly like they even have the same eyes. It's crazy.
Same everything. Yeah, but there she go. She had enough love right there.
And there he goes. Bye. Yeah. Get your tail out of here. Don't bite me. All right, so back to the questions now that our cat children have gone away.
Word.
So who influenced you to go on stage? Like what was your thought process? How did you get from where you were in life at the particular time to the comedy stage? How'd you get there?
Like the reason that I made the move to just do comedy. Well, the influence was the thought was always there, and the influence was just one day I was bouncing at work, and one of the servers just came up to me. He was like, "Yo, I'm taking a class at Governor's. I think you're real funny, and you should do it." So, at that time, everything was ends, so, I went and did it, and it was the best decision I ever made. Like, on just a top, heat of the moment type thing. I was like, forget it. It's my calling right now. It's happening for a reason. So I decided to do it. That was that moment. And it was about 2.5 years ago.
Cool. So there wasn't like any like famous comic that you were like, wow, I could get up there and do that.
Oh yeah, always. I mean, from back in the days, I was influenced by many, many comics. I mean, you've heard them all, but if I were to give like the specific few that really made me consider myself being on stage, it was,
Right.
Obviously Dave Chappelle, Patrice O'Neill, but then there's a lot of, pardon me, a lot of forgotten names. You hear a lot of other names like George Carlin. They're all famous, but I like, Capone, Gangster Competing Capone, Eddie Griffin, Gary Owen. There's a lot of guys in the underrealm that not really get. Some of them getting spotlight now, but growing up, I saw them in their young careers and blowing up, and it was one of those things that just wanted me to do the same thing.
Wanted you to do it.
Yeah.
So, all right. What is your approach to playing the comedy game? What I mean by that is like, how do you like stay motivated? Because comedy obviously takes a lot of motivation. It takes a lot of skill. It takes, a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. Like, what is your method of staying in the game?
I mean, I try to keep it to the basics, use a lot of things in my life that I used before. Just try to keep it to the basics, find the original, that first love, that reason why you loved it and wanted to do it and made you, go forth with that. And or that one thing that was just always in your heart and you finally did it. I say always go back to that. I mean, it's like anything in life. You have to exercise the will to do it. And if you love and you're passionate about something, I think that you're going to go above and beyond to make sure that your craft is where it needs to be to succeed in this game.
Right. So, has there been anything that's ever happened to you when you're out there in the comedy circuit that's like, all right, I'm prepared for this? Like going up to do a show and maybe you didn't expect to do it, or maybe you didn't get as much time as you thought, or whatever, and you've just like had to improvise that. Has that ever happened?
Oh yeah, easy. I remember one show. I was supposed to get like 7-8 minutes, around there, give or take, and then guess I was later in the lineup, and certain people before me, or a good amount of people, went over their time. So when it came up to me, they were like, "Yo, you got to do like legit 4 to 5."
Right.
So you have to, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Even though it sucks, respect to the people who put you on and gave you the opportunity. And
Right.
you know how the business is, what I mean? Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
So you gotta just adjust. And it could be the same to where they're like, yo, you get 5 minutes, and the next right before you go up, they're like, yo, you gotta do 10. So
Yeah.
no matter which way of the scale it tilts, it's pretty much, like a boxing match. You know what I mean? Or like a UFC match. You know what I mean? You can
Right.
train for it all you want, but you also have to expect the unexpected and adjust in the real time to overcome it and make sure you accomplish a good set.
I mean, I mean, I've seen you perform obviously dozens of times.
Yeah.
And I think the one time that I was really impressed, I mean, one of like the second or third times I was really impressed, because I can't discount my shows, was when we went to the drag show and I was doing comedy. And they were like, oh, Eli's here, get up on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were in a room with all these drag queens and all these like fans of drag, and you just got up there and you just did your set. Like, I mean, that was like, you came to support me, thank you very much. But you got put up on stage like that, and I was just like, hope you're not mad. But it happened. Like, yeah. But out of that came an opportunity to be able to host a show out of that and be able to do something that was a little bit unique, because that show was lit. That show was really good. Yeah, the way we handled that was really good.
It was. And shout out to all them that put that show and allowed me to be on it, and a little bit to you too, because I even had that conversation with you. Like, you know me, I'm always very confident, but there was like a little moment I was like, should I? Because I was there to just show support. especially to you, and just chill for the night. But
Right.
like we was just talking before, curveballs could be thrown,
Strong.
and
Yeah.
all you got to do is just adjust your swing. And like you told me, it's like, why not take the opportunity, because you
Yeah, it's
never
an
know.
opportunity. So what? Yeah.
And at the same time, it's gonna happen again. And why take away the opportunity to have time and better your craft? And at the moment,
Never.
it was like you saw me. It was like, all right, bet. Let me go in my little corner. I wrote down a few things, and you saw it was a great time. It was a great
I had
time.
fun that night. That was
Yeah.
definitely fun. I mean, I've had it happen to me one time where I've walked into a club to go support someone else, and they were like, "Oh, why don't you come up and do some time?" And I'm like, "Okay, like, what was I supposed to do? Say no? Like, I'm just here to, to support somebody. Like, it wasn't." But I mean, you got a
Tell
lot
me
of
about
fans from that. It was good. It's all about building your audience. You got a chance to perform in front of an audience that you might never have had that opportunity for. Because I mean, honestly, how many drag queen shows would you go to if it wasn't a part of comedy?
Look, I'm gonna tell you straight. I never thought I'd perform comedy at a drag show. Last thing on my mind. Last thing on my mind. But if the opportunity was there, and it was a good crowd, those are good people. You know what I mean? It was an interesting experience. You know what I mean? I've never been in a show and they did some crazy shit.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
no, yeah,
but they
yeah.
killed it. And then to throw the comedy in, and like I said, it was cool. It was cool to get my name out to a different crowd. You know what I mean? People that I wouldn't normally be around, and it was good people, great environment. It was a fun time, and it was a good thing that I did say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we've done so many shows together. It's ridiculous. Like, I can't even think of like, I don't, I mean, I'm a very shy person. So for me, like to do like the skits that you and Chris Cuff did,
Mhm.
during that, like, how did you feel? Like, you've had like an experience of doing some acting and I mean, we rehearsed that, but some acting, like, do you ever think now going forward of doing something like that within
Oh
your,
yeah, yeah. I definitely wouldn't mind. I mean, when I did it with Chris Cuff, I mean, I was fucking horrible. You know what I mean? but I was having fun with it. You know what I mean? But the whole thing is, it's a learning process, and down the line, if ever the real deal ever comes, you know what I mean, and that happens, is those type of moments you look back on and be like, yo, that's the reason why you take chances. I never
yeah.
thought I'd be an actor, but why not? Why not? There's a
That
lot.
was definitely, yeah, it was definitely fun.
Mm.
Um, was there like what moment in comedy when you felt like I got something here? Like you're up on the stage, you're doing your set, and all of a sudden it's just like I got something here, and I know I could just keep going forward.
Oh, like as far as like a joke wise,
Well, like a
or
feeling that you would have gotten, like you're really
oh,
engaging with the crowd, people are laughing, like you're just I'm gonna because everybody has a moment. Sometimes people get on stage or even in open mics and they'll be like, you know what? I'm totally bombing. No one's laughing. I'm done. And
yeah.
you know, has there ever been a moment when you're on stage and you're like, all right, I'm really good with this. I'm gonna keep going.
Oh yeah. I can't remember exactly what show, but I want to say it was a Sean Brown show. And it was real early, and I think it was my first year in comedy. I think I've been doing it for 2.5, so about there, my first year. But um, I just remember going up on that set, and I had the little normal nervousness that I always get, a little bit, and I feel if you don't get that, then you lost touch. You know what I mean? But when I jumped up on stage, and the moment I grabbed the mic, and I forgot what my first joke was, but it was just so bland. But I guess the way I said it, and with the relaxation I had in my body, the laugh I got just like made me jolt a little bit, and it made me like warm up inside, like you said, it was that moment like I got something.
Yeah.
But it was that approach, and I remember the rest of that set. That was like, to me, like probably one of my best sets, because of the way the word I worded, and how everything hit. I just remember like people afterwards, and comedians that were like, "Yo, for a guy who was doing it for a year, that was some real good stand up right there." And that feeling just stood with me the whole night. And I remember like, yo, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. That was awesome. And then I kept bombing afterwards, but it's to reach that level of high again, that makes me keep going. So I enjoyed it. That was definitely that moment.
Speaking of bombing, have you ever seen anyone bomb on stage? Like totally like, oh shit.
Oh, plenty. I've seen plenty. I've seen plenty. Outside of
What's
my.
one that like stands out in your head? Like, oh my god, like.
I'm not gonna say no names, but
Don't say names. I think I know what you're talking about.
no, the reason I don't want to say any names is those people get butthurt too easy. But at the same time, I'm not here to make it seem like I'm dissing. But to each his own, to each his own. But at the end of the day, yes, I've seen some people bomb the bomb of all bombs, like the nuke bombs, whatever bomb you want to call it. And I've seen it. It's cringy. When people in the audience start waving their phone to the host,
I knew
yeah,
it.
you do.
I
don't.
it.
Hey,
I think you're the second comic that I've had on this show that was like looking at me like, you know what I'm gonna say. You know exactly what I'm gonna say. Like
I don't give a damn. I haven't been doing comedy that long, but I've never heard nothing like that.
Yeah,
and
I
watch a lot of comedy, but that was a crazy night. That was.
I'll never forget a particular producer and host face standing there not knowing what the fuck to do. Why this is just going on, and I'm like, are you gonna? I mean, we have seen.
I'll tell you this much. Those people, Snapchats and Instagrams were popping that night. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know. Oh my god.
Yo, you know how many people were probably recording that shit? Because a lot of people were clowning, and it was out loud. And
oh my. Well, yeah, that was definitely out loud. But I didn't know the people posted on the internet.
That's the era we live in. Everybody.
He should have posted on his own internet. He probably would have gotten millions of views on that. Because sometimes you get a lot more views from fucking up than you do being successful. So. I don't know. Have you ever personally bombed yourself? Or you're standing up there, you're like, I'm done right now. Like I totally bombed.
Easy. I definitely have bombed. I could definitely think about like 6 off my head right now.
Really?
Easy, yeah. I mean, other people might not think it's bombing, but I bombed, but it comes with the territory.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Not everybody has the same type of humor, which is cool because it makes me try to reach out for new type of material. Go out of the new way. I don't as a bummer. If anything, I have fun with it.
Right.
Have fun with it. Whatever.
Now I feel like Teresa Farrell mentioned that she loves you for your quotes. Everybody loves that. Where did you come up with that concept to do that? Where did you? I mean, you could probably have a whole treasure trove of quotes, but where did you how did you come up with that concept?
I mean, thank you to the people of the internet world. I mean, you could literally put up I could literally say one of my quotes in that famous person. Somebody's gonna bite. Somebody's gonna, oh my God, did they really say? And it's just like, just get creative, and the more nonsense it is, you know what I mean? And the nonsense and also the twist, because once you've heard it, once you catch on to the quotes, now you're trying to figure out who the hell said it. So to me, it's a good little peekaboo, I guess, type concept game with the audience, on what it is. And, I could go from real cool ones to real over the edge, pushing the line. I love it. But what made me do it, I don't know. I think I thought of Will Ferrell when he quoted actual President Bush. President Bush did some stupid stuff. It was on one of his movies. I smoked weed one day, and I was like, yo, just do something with quotes, and make it crazy with somebody that everybody would know.
Do you feel like okay, so we'll do a fun question. What's your favorite? And I know I'm really diving into some fucking shit right here because I know you're like a movie super fan. What's your favorite comedy movie?
Oh my God, favorite comedy movie? Easily my top 3 is Tropic Thunder. I thought that was just a classic. That was a classic. I mean, so over the top edge. It's just bananas. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
The bat scene with the heroine and Jack Black.
Oh my god. The
No.
whole just him off the heroin, period. It's crazy.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. But to me, that was just real funny. That's just real funny. Then you got your Fridays funny. You know, I mean, I think a lot of stuff. Forrest Gump to me, I think is one of the best comedy movies out there, and I don't think its genre has anything to do with comedy. Is it?
I think it depends on the person. Like, if you're not ashamed to laugh at people that have mental disabilities, which we both know that we're
I think
not.
it might be a drama comedy, yeah. But to me, I think it's a pure comedy. That's Step Brothers. I mean, like Pineapple Express. You name it. Like, funny's funny, man. You got to learn to laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I think because we both basically come from the same generation. I consider myself to be more of an expert of the 90s because I'm older than you. But I mean, like, we definitely grew up on comedy. Like, a lot of the 90s was influenced on like these comedy movies and these comedy shows. Like, our whole life has been about that. Like, what favorite comedy movie from your generation do you remember? Like a scene that stands out. Yeah, okay.
Beverly Hills Cop. From that and I think that was like 80s, 90s. That was probably more 80s. But definitely Beverly Hills Cop.
I saw Beverly Hills Cop in the movie theater. That's how old I am. I wasn't like old enough to know what I was watching, but I remember watching it. I remember seeing it. That was one of and Big Business. I saw in the movie. Did you ever see Big Business? I love that movie.
I remember seeing Big Business.
Yeah, I saw Big Business.
Trading Places.
Don't go there. That is no. That is comedy gold.
You know what's another hidden comedy gold? Look up Orgasmo. Yeah.
No. I know that movie. That was a Showtime. That was on Showtime. Okay.
It's from the creators of South Park.
Yeah, I know, with the dildo swinging. Come on.
Yeah, that's funny movie.
Yeah. I know. That movie, I think, was either on HBO or Showtime. They played it. They played it really late at night, and like that's how I got to. One time, I watched it. I used to watch like even the movie Pump Up the Volume. I don't know if you've ever seen that with Christian Slater.
Yeah.
Where they had to like edit out the big dick that they were carrying around. That's like, I love dark comedy like Heathers. Like, I think that like all those weird like 90s types of movies like that, like those are like my favorite. Huh?
White Man Can't Jump. That's a comedy, right? Isn't it a comedy?
Yeah, I would say that's a comedy, I guess.
It's funny. This funny shit.
It is pretty funny. Like, there is definitely a lot of funny movies, but back in the day, like, I mean, anything with John Candy.
Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee.
That movie's on a whole different level. Just no. Spike Lee is no. The feeling that you get when you watch one of his movies is completely different than any other feeling you get because it's so real. Like, I didn't grow up in the city. I didn't grow up in that type of neighborhood, but I lived in Brooklyn for 7 years. And I would give my right leg to go back to Brooklyn today because of just the way it is out there. It's so different. It's very, very different than anything. And to be able to capture that in a movie and to be able to keep it as real as he does, that's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. I love that. But I'm not going to go into my rant about going to Brooklyn because we won't go there. I'm safe and happy in Huntington. I'm fine. So how do you practice your comedy? Like, I know you used to go to a lot of open mics. That's actually how we met. What do you do to practice your comedy?
Oh, well, I'll do it a little bit here and there. If there's certain material I really need to definitely go out there and, just get it out from head to mic. But, I'm home writing. I recite it. Sometimes I'll play around with people I work with. I mean, I wouldn't even tell them like, hey, I'll just say it. You know what I mean? I'll just say it, and especially to one of my friends, and if they laugh or they get a chuckle, I'm like, all right, now I know in a comedy setting it'll be a little bit more better. But you
Yeah.
know, at the end of the day, you just got to keep writing and remixing, and
So
you'll
there's no
figure out.
bathroom time in the bathroom where like in front of the mirror, where like you're shaving your face and you start like, talking to yourself.
Oh yeah, all the time. Bathroom when you're in the shower. Sometimes I'll be at work and I'll be just saying stuff to myself. People probably think I'm crazy because I'll be laughing, but I think all my shit is funny. But but
It's hard, yeah, no, it's hard.
no,
I used to write a lot of my material on my bus, so I would think of shit and I would try not to laugh at like 6:15 in the morning when I got high
yeah,
school kids on the bus, and all of a sudden the bus driver just starts busting out laughing,
right.
because it sounds so funny in your head, and then when you write it down later on, like I used to talk a lot of my jokes on the way to work. I used to write them down in between, because I'm not using my brain really, that my creative side of my brain when I'm driving a school bus, but so that's definitely yeah. So should we talk about it?
Talk about what?
Um, so there's one question that I have. Now, when you were in high school, where were you? Like, what were you like in high school? Like, where were you sitting at the cafeteria yeah. Tell me about what other talents you have other besides comedy. Like, what were
Like
you like as a kid?
like what type of kid? All right. Well, I was like I mean, I was a street dude, but everybody knew that. But like the way it is out here, I was also into sports, so I was never one to be afraid to mingle with anybody. I didn't care what anybody, you got your jocks, you got your nerds, you got the dudes from the street, you just got the normal people, you got the weird people. I mean, I
Mhm.
was cool. I was always trying to be cool with everybody. You know what I mean? But sometimes street beef came into the school. But um, because of the sports, what I mean, I guess I would be more leaning to the jock side because I was I was decent. I was pretty good, and
What did you play?
played football, basketball. Started on football on both sides,
You
basketball.
played for Huntington?
Yeah, Huntington.
All right, so
Hun-
I could definitely say you were good.
yeah,
Huntington all the way. Yep.
Huntington all the way. I mean, I came in ninth grade year, and I went up to varsity the next year. I was real good. I loved it. I just loved sports growing up. That was one thing I was always into. So you could pretty much say if there was anything I loved more than comedy, it's probably going to be sports. You know what I mean? But that was something I grew up off of. I could have probably went to college for it, but other things happened in life. But
Yeah.
that's where I was. I was just the guy at the table eating. But if I was any one of them, I was just probably like the jocks guys.
Did you go to prom?
Nah.
Did you?
I mean, my high school was a little different. If it wasn't for football and all that, I probably would have dropped out of high school. But I ended up having a kid in high school. So by that time, I just wanted to graduate. So the
Right.
prom that was cute, for everybody else, but I had to grow up faster. So I had to figure out what exactly I was going to do in college. Didn't happen, so that's why I went to the military.
Right. Well, that was my next question. I know that we can talk about that. Um, I don't even know how to like ask you this. Did you use comedy to get through some of those nights that I mean you're alone with your thoughts a lot of the time. Like, did
Yeah.
you what did you draw on?
Well, I mean, as far as like comedy, like writing wise, like what we do now, it wasn't like that. But we all use comedy within ourselves, period, on a daily basis.
Right.
I mean, I was in the infantry, so when we out there in the sticks, you know, down the line, with the enemy, it's 24/7. But everybody's a comedian, and anything that's on our mind, talk about. I mean, think about it. If you're with somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 10 months, you're gonna run out of things to talk about, but then you figure out you can find new things to talk about. So anything and everything was comedy to us. It didn't matter what
Everything.
it was. That's a different mindset that
Yeah.
people won't really understand, but it's something that I'll cherish because those are those memories that I hold on to this day. Those laughs with those guys.
Do you feel like Like you say that it's hard to be around people all the time and you find things to talk about. Did you ever find that you talked about things that you wouldn't normally talk about yourself with like people? Like if
Yeah,
you're trying to find some things to talk about.
I mean, like as far as like talking to people now, I mean, it's easier. It's easier. I mean, then it was a little difficult, but you just talking is just moving the lips and whatever comes, to thought, and you'll just make something from nothing and just go from there. That's usually, that's how I think about it. You know what I
Right.
mean? It can happen in that theater over there, or even out here. I don't like being around too many people around here, even before all this commotion and all that. But sometimes you just gotta talk, and you never know where it could lead. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I get that. Because sometimes it's, like to tell people, like I'm not used to like telling people like about myself personally. So I mean, some people I could talk to, that's very small circle of people. And then like there's other topics out there that like I'll find it. Like I could pretty much talk about anything, think of something to talk about. But when it comes down to like personal stuff, like even like, but now that I found, because comedy is more like, okay, you talk about things that are personal. Because I'm not, I think I'm out there in the world, like I see things going on, but I see things very different than most people would. So now it's kind of like I'm getting like a little bit more comfortable about talking about personal things. Do you
Take it
find
like you got to take it like comedy. You know how like you got 7 minutes and you got bits and
right?
pieces. Start
Yeah,
from that small piece and that's it. You know,
right. Like I
eventually.
never, I mean, to say anything about my weight was like, oh my God. But now it's funny to me because now it's just such a such like a it's not a taboo subject, but it's something that it's obvious and it's something that I am very open with and it's something that I talk about. So why not make it into comedy? What's the one thing about you that you would poke fun of on stage?
About myself.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I did that a little bit. I haven't done that yet, but I actually want to start doing that in comedy. But
Well, you
actually,
did do it one time. Don't
no, I
make
did.
me bring it up.
No, no,
I'm
no.
not
I'm
bringing
not
it up.
saying I haven't. I'm not saying I have, but what I'm saying is I want to do more of it. But a lot of like sometimes I get caught in my own head and I get too strong with my opinion to where a point it overshadows thinking that I'm shutting down another opinion, and that's not really the case. But I think it's also funny that the conversation with myself. So I think that's one thing I want to start poking fun at, like the conversations I have with myself, because you know especially now, you're not really talking to many people, but you know me, I talk when I have to talk and I'll talk to anybody, but most of the time I'll be quiet, but there's a lot more conversations going on in my head and I want to get a little bit of more of that out because it's definitely interesting.
I think that's funny. Like if you one trick to do that is when you get up in the morning, write down whatever thoughts are in your head and keep it going throughout the day. Like always make sure you write it down so that you're able to remember. Because I talk to myself a lot because I'm a writer, so I have all these interesting characters around me that I have to create lives for. So I talk to them and I engage with them and I try to, I mean, I'm not crazy. Well, I don't know, but it's just kind of, so it's easy to do that because I don't want to like look out into the world and say, oh, these things. You just never really know like what the truth is. I have a very different perspective like when I look at the world because I think that 90% of what we see is not real. So, and there's always a deeper meaning to it. And that's not stuff that you can talk about because most people take things at face value. Like they open up a newspaper, they read an article, that's the truth. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no, that's not the truth. Like I'm sure that there's other underlying things to it. And unless I have time to find that out, I'm not really.
all right, and that's what you gotta do. You gotta do a little research. You gotta do a little
Research. Yeah, we definitely talked of
yeah.
it
Yeah.
was a full night.
But it's
Uh,
always good being to have information. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And
yeah,
that's one thing with comedy. You need information. Without information, your comedy is
yeah.
nothing. It's
And
just a
I
bunch of
feel like when I watch comics that don't talk about themselves and don't make jokes about themselves and just mainly talk about other people or talk about things in the news or politics or just something like that, I feel like they come off like a little bit less, unless it's done well. I feel like they come off like a little less like authentic. I feel like it's not, you're not being true to yourself. You're just being like a speaker. You're just,
like a robot.
yeah, like
Yeah,
just kind of like standing up there, like, oh, my kid's this, and oh, my
yeah.
husband that. I just, okay,
I mean, like you said, if it could work, it could work, and if not, then I guess take a little second look at what you're doing. But to each his own. To each his own. But definitely, I would. There's a lot more other things, personality traits, going on that I like to attack on myself on stage. I definitely want to take that next phase after all this is over.
I can't wait for that shit.
I,
I'm in the Furtmo laughing.
I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people doing a lot of good things with this whole online and trying their best what they can with the situation. But I'm more of an on stage type of person. I need the crowd. I need that energy. And I know once things start going back to normal and the clubs start opening up, man, I'm gonna go in there hard. I'm going in there hard. It's a different way than what I did it before, but this game is evolution.
Yeah.
So
Well, you also have to be consistent and change with the tide. You know what I'm saying? Like this is definitely something, like usually when I have like a big idea, I'll call you up and be like, yo, what do you think of this? And I told you about getting people to watch shows online. I didn't think that we would actually be doing the shows online. That was not something that I had anticipated. But I had already kind of had like, yeah, man, like it is a little unnerving, like to be standing here in my living room doing the show. But for the sake of we don't know when that's going to happen, when it's going to happen, I would definitely recommend giving it a shot. If you can get, just try and see if you can do it. Because I mean, it does suck. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have Olivia London that lives in the other apartment behind my house. So she was here for most of the time. So we were kind of like, at least I knew she was in here laughing, and I was laughing at her while she was in my room. So it's definitely different, and I really do miss the energy that I get from the stage, and just being up there and being able to move around and being able to look and feel. So I really do look forward. But for right now, I'm just gonna. I don't know how many of them I'll do, but just for right now, just to keep the flow, getting people used to watching comedy online, just in case this might last a little bit longer. You always have to be prepared, right?
you're right. You're right. I mean, right now I'm just performing in front of my cat, but but I hear you. You definitely always got to be prepared. You know what I mean? But I know I'm always just exercising my mind, making sure I'm on point with something. But like you said, you got to find some way to get through this, and once we back out there, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good.
Did you ever think about producing shows?
I mean, I've done it before. Will I do it again eventually? How soon? I don't know. I know, with a couple friends that, my Marine buddies, you know, um, I was trying to do something this summer secretly, but with all this that's happened, I guess I'll just say, but in the future, definitely want to get with my Marine buddies and start doing some fundraisers for certain causes of not, whether it's military or whatever or anything, some of that nature. But start helping the military guys out in that aspect because I know there's a lot of organizations that we run into and a lot of people that we meet with military wise that I know that I could set stuff up and call people like you and I know there's a bunch of comedians that's willing to come out and do it.
Actually,
You know
let's
that's what
bring
I'm
that
talking
up.
about. No, definitely. I mean, and that's what I've been thinking secretly, and like that's what I'm saying. But with the
Well,
whole
now you
COVID,
set the firestorm. You know that.
not easy. But I always got plans. I don't talk a lot. I may put some foolish stuff online, but I got plans, and that's my thing. I was gonna set some stuff up and hit up my comedian friends and start making people laugh. Like I said, once all this is over, we're all gonna need that. We're all gonna need some heartwarming laughs
Even
and start
now.
to feel good again because that's what this fucking world needs right now.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, um, I have horses. Well, my sister has horses. We know Tony Simonetti, who runs a foundation for veterans, healing through equine therapy. He trains all the horses for the movies. He knows a lot of movie producers. He knows a lot of people. He's a very nice guy. I think he actually might be a Marine. I will have to double check and ask, but that's definitely a good person to know. And that's definitely somebody that, you know, I know you like horses. I mean, you don't have to, do the program, but he's definitely somebody good to know that's in that world. And they just started doing like a docu-series that just got picked up by a network,
Yeah.
about the work that they do with veterans with equine therapy. So, of course, obviously, a foundation like that would need money. So there's one right there, and I'll always help with that because
Yeah. I got one buddy who like my Marine Corps buddies, you always meet new military guys, new Marines. And there's one guy who put me on with if you want to check it out, called Vet TV.
yeah.
They're real popular in the military world. They make noise, but that's a connection right there too. But it doesn't hurt to know more people. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
think
absolutely everybody. Because I've discovered that, like, Chris Cuff and Cara Morey were telling me that they were doing a show in front of 600 people. Let that sink in.
yeah,
Online, a show of 600 people because they have a connection to a community, which I won't say because it's supposed to be anonymous. They have a connection to a community like me. I've had weight loss surgery. So I want to start designing jokes around weight loss surgery so I can connect to that community. And you have an in with, the military. And, listen, one of the things that I really feel helps people to overcome a lot of things, whether you're in the military, whether you're just going through life, whatever, is laughing. And
yeah,
especially being able to relate to other people, because I feel like people don't reach out for help. And they don't reach out, sometimes help doesn't mean going to, like, when I used to volunteer at the VA in Brooklyn, a lot of the vets that were there didn't want to talk to the psychiatrist who were there, but they would talk to someone like me because I was a regular person. So it helped them to be able to talk without, oh, you need to do this. Because sometimes you just can't. It's just sometimes you just can't, I mean, even I know for myself,
yeah. It's that one moment where they could feel a little bit sense of normal to them.
pretty normal. Like, you don't want to sit there and talk to someone who's going through the list of what your problem might be and what medication you might need. Because, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I know that this may get a lot of slack for saying it, but sometimes there's some shit that happens that that can't be helped. Sometimes there's just some shit that, like, what are you really going to do about this? Like, other than live with it,
Yeah. I mean, that's true. I mean,
you know?
and I understand that, and that's why I feel, that's where family, love, and friends need to come together, because that
Absolutely.
they might not be something you can't do nothing about that. You might not be able to do nothing about that, but then as you go forward, that's where you need, that shoulder to lean on, because,
Yeah.
like you said, there's some things that just can't be fixed, and that's true. I mean, I agree, but
Yeah.
I think it's also how you go on after that. But that's where we gotta take care of
Well,
each
yeah. I mean, that's right. I mean, there's people. There were guys that I met. I mean, I literally met a guy that had no arms and no legs,
other.
and he was just like,
Yeah, I got a
"Fuck."
lot of friends like that, and it really throws you into perspective, because when you're having a bad day or whatever, and these people are happy, it gotta make you think, like, what do you got to cry about? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you need
Well,
that.
but also, I'm mentally stable enough to know that I see that, and that could be me too.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't mean that I can't go and get into an accident and lose the ability to use my arms and my legs.
Uh-huh.
But I believe in motivation happens when you see the light. And I'm not talking about the light on the stage. When you see the light, like, my ass is toast, and I know that you know what I'm talking about. Where you think, I'm not making out of this. Like, there's just no way I'm gonna survive this. I've seen that. I've watched it. The reason why I do comedy is because my sister-in-law died in front of my face at 26 years old of a very curable disease. And I said, you know what? I'm going to live my life. So everything I've done since December 9th, 2 years ago, has been for that girl. I said everything. I'm not going to continue to live the way I was living. I'm going to live my dreams. I'm going to do everything that I'm going to do because I saw the light of that.
Yeah.
Do you have a moment where you said, oh, fuck, I'm not going to be able to, I might not survive this. I might not come back from this. And it inspires you. You don't have to,
No, I'm only not here. I'm only smiling because yeah, of course. I mean,
We love you, Mike Favor. We love you. Mike is
Mike,
like,
Mike. But yeah, I mean, I think my big that sense that what you're explaining, when I went to Afghanistan and Iraq gave me that. I didn't know if I was coming back, you
right.
know. I didn't know. And then to come back from one tour and know you're going back is like, all right, I made it through this time, but the next time might not be so lucky. But that was definitely an eye opener. But what happened after that, with the military and the mental illness, and I lost a lot of friends through the suicide. You know what I mean? And through this organization, Relevant Warriors. Shout out to them. We do the Silkies hike, and lost a little train of thought with this topic,
That's okay.
but pretty much, with this, like you said, you lose somebody, and when you think the same way that those people did, like with the suicide, I thought of myself, it put me at a wall, and that's where I chose comedy because the way I felt making people laugh was a good feeling, and it was a good way to keep pushing forward and to keep their names alive and to tell their stories and to let everybody know, what they did for this country, and that put the whole perspective on the light, I guess, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all in a nutshell, that was my light. Comedy allowed me to do that, and I can live and do something for other people, and it makes me feel good. And it's more than just going overseas and doing that part, because I love that part of it. But it ain't always just war. Life is not just about war. So
Right.
now after war, I'm using comedy with people who have similar problems, whether it's military or not, such as myself, to just get people to laugh. That was my light. That was the light that made me realize, oh snap, you know, I
Right.
gotta I gotta
I
I
got
gotta
it
I gotta
sometimes.
kick this up. So
But I feel
that's
like you're definitely like from the first time I met you, I was like, because you know me. But then,
attitude. It was
but
all
then
right.
like, yeah, exactly. But then like I sat there and I listened to you and you were like, I was a Marine and I was like, okay, like you're a representative of like everyone, like that's ever not everyone, but you're up there and you're standing that there's another life out there that you could step out of that and you can do something else with your life
Yeah,
and that you can be funny and that you can smile and that you can put yourself, you know what I mean? And I've seen you talk to other, even when we were with John Brecco and you talked to that young kid that just had gotten out of the Marines, he was all smiles and looking all good with his girlfriend and everything like that. But you knew that, that there was probably something a little bit deeper going on there, so you understand that.
man. I mean, I guess for what I learned in my life, through the good and the bad, you know, um, what's wrong with helping out the next person? What I
Nothing.
mean? Exactly. There's nothing wrong. And, I wish I had more money to do more and be able to help more people, but that's not the case. So there's one thing that I can do that everybody can do that we all got, and that's words. You know, going up to somebody, showing compassion, showing a little bit of, a warmth of human side of,
Yeah.
hey, I've been in similar shoes, or I've known similar things, and the whole thing is you don't want people to make the same decisions you made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when it, bad choices or whatever. You want to see people grow. You want to see people do better. And I
Well,
think we
that's what
need
we're here for. We're
exactly.
here
And,
to
and
set the example for the younger ones
yeah, and
that are going to come after us.
I don't know. I guess in those moments, I guess if there's something I can say to help somebody out, I'm gonna say it. You
Yeah.
know, that's
I mean,
just it.
yeah. I don't listen to. I'm very hard headed. I mean, it's not really, but like I remember you gave me some advice, and I was just like, I was like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like I forget what it was. I think it was probably about comedy, but like you told me something, and it just snapped, and I was like, oh, okay,
And
I get it now.
I think it was the car drive to Jersey. I think I think
Yeah, that
it
was
was
yeah,
because I think he was talking about something like producing or whatever. But yeah, but that's just it. But that's the whole thing. Like you never. like even when you say something bad to somebody, you never know where words can go. You never know, and especially if you use it for good. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody just needs to hear that one. Everybody says a lot of the similar things, but maybe it's that one little part and all of that that they hear that's just good enough to give them that
Right.
bump. I mean,
Well,
and
sometimes bad words need to be said too, because sometimes people need to hear,
if
like,
situation
listen, it's
situation.
situational based. Like if you're, it depends on, I always love it when people are honest with me, because I feel like sometimes people are afraid to be honest with me because of the way I come off. But sometimes it's, I need to be told, like, listen, you're being out of control, or you're not thinking clearly, or not whatever. Like, I appreciate the people that are blunt enough to tell me, hey, you're being unreasonable, and don't just let me, laugh at me and just let me just plow through like a bull in a china shop. Like, I need to be reined in sometimes.
If you're out of line, you need to be checked every now and then. And
Yeah,
obviously, like you said, the way you do it also plays a good part too. You know what I mean? But if they're good people, a good friend or whatever, everybody needs to get checked now and then.
yeah,
Everybody gets loose. It happens.
definitely. So if there was going to be a movie made about your life, who would play you?
Wow, Denzel. No.
Oh, really? Okay,
Nah,
okay.
honestly, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who would be, a Latino. I don't know. I don't know. Would Hollywood get a white person and brown face them? Some shit? Nah.
Probably.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would say the type of movie, yeah, it would either be Denzel, The Rock.
Oh,
I'm nowhere near 6 foot either. I'm 5'8". I don't know. Or Keanu Reeves. I like Keanu Reeves. John Wick.
I love Keanu Reeves. I love him. He's the best. I love The Rock too. I could see The Rock definitely. I mean, they could always CGI it down a couple inches. But
When I
I
was
could
growing
see
up,
it.
people said that I could play like a younger Will Smith, like if Will Smith, like younger days, he could play me.
Always. As soon as I met you, I was like, he's like a Will Smith type of character, but also like a little bit of Ice Cube thrown in there. And like, I don't know, but I mean, you're your own person, but like, definitely, like, I see like that the Will Smith goofiness type of attitude that so,
Um,
but Teresa says, shut up, Teresa says Mario Pebbles. Who the hell is that?
oh, word. You don't know Mario Pebbles?
Oh, who is that?
Uh, what movie was he in? I know Mario Pebbles. I know Mario Pebbles. I know Mario.
I'm gonna
One
have to look it up now.
what was he in the Spanish movie? Well, of course he's Spanish. I know Mario Pebbles. You know Mario Pebbles. You know Mario Pebbles.
I probably will if I saw a picture. I'm not good with names, but I probably will if I saw it.
You like, oh, word. I know Mario Pebbles.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's a good one, Teresa.
Teresa, yeah, Teresa was like, what did Teresa say? She said, "Great interview. Thank you for being so honest." And then Teresa also said, weight is relatable. Yes, it definitely is. And then she said, Eli's boot camp. He'll get everyone into shape.
Word. I've been taking boxing too lately, so stepping it up.
You have not.
Yeah,
Where?
legit, right down the block. Personal one-on-ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, because I was about to say, like, yeah, as soon as that place opens, I think I might go. But I just hired like a super beast personal trainer, so
yeah. It's
weight
usually
might not be a topic of conversation.
yeah, it's usually me and two other guys. It's the coach and then me and a guy. We be sparring, so it'd be actual like real contact. It's pretty dope. I like it. But
Yeah.
just I'm self-active during all this. I can't hit the gym, so you know, lost a little size, but I'm still in good shape. So I'm not worried about
You'll get it back, I'm sure. I'm sure you'll be back in the gym. It's not a problem. Once you have it, and that's it. So
it. I'm good. Muscle memory.
you're good. So, do you have any stages that you've performed on that you absolutely love? Like, what's the stage that you love to be on that you just,
Like the stage that I have performed, or the stage that I want to be on, that I would love to.
All right, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna ask a real question. Right. What stage do you want? If there was a famous comic right now that called you up and was like, "Yo, brother, I need you to come and do a spot," who would it be? And what stage do you want it to be on? Go for it.
Oh wow. I mean, who's the poppin' ones right now? I mean, if you want to talk like Dave Chappelle, homeboy Roy, Mel, like those famous guys. I don't know. Anybody famous right now. I mean, I would whoever it is famous, it don't matter to be honest. I'll be real, but it would be my famous. I would say Dave Chappelle. You know what I mean, he's
Oh,
obviously active, active right now.
right.
And obviously, I would want to do it because just of well, because I'm a basketball fan, in Madison Square Garden, because the history. You know what I mean? Just the history,
Right.
sports wise, comedy wise, concerts, with musicians, like that would be awesome. To Dave Chappelle be like, yo, dude, that I probably wouldn't even make it because I'd probably die of a heart attack.
No, you wouldn't. You'd get up there and you would do it. I mean, I think my biggest heart attack was when I had to do on the main stage of Governors, and I was like, holy shit. Like, but there was a lot of people in that audience there that night, and I was really nervous and I was scared. And I was like, yeah, but imagine if there was like 50,000 people.
I said the
And I
same
was
thing.
like, oh, let's get it on and popping. Like, I could definitely get on a stage at 50 and do it in front of 50,000 people.
Yeah,
I've always I don't know why, but I've always wanted to perform at Jones Beach. I
that
know
would
it's
be
not big, or Madison Square Garden, not Madison Square Garden, but Nassau Coliseum. I know those aren't like big stages, but like because I'm from Long Island, like that's like where I would definitely want to, and I know that I will get there one day. Oh,
that's
I will.
and you will. That's how you got to
I
think.
know I will. I'll be up there. Trust me. I'm gonna. That's why I keep working as hard as I do, because
You got,
I just
you
don't
got
stop.
to you got to think it. You got to believe it, see it, then do it. It's
And
gonna
then do
happen.
it. So, are you ready for the $1,000,000 question? Because I know Teresa's waiting for this $1,000,000 question.
All right,
She
shoot.
said he was in Ahmed and run the. Hold on a second. I can't see it. T. I'll have to watch it later. T. I can't see it. I don't know what it is. Okay, so this is in bed with comics. So obviously we have to talk about things that happen in bed. Name a famous male or female comic that you would take to bed. Go for it.
Oh man, female comic. Um,
Or male.
that I take to bed. There's no guys. No. There's no guys. But as far as female, if I can't fuck Wanda Sykes, um, I'll definitely fuck. What's the let go right now? Fucking Isra, the fuck, white girl. She was on Confidential with Mark Wahlberg. She was just in that movie.
Oh,
She's a
I
comedian.
don't. I don't think I know who. Yeah, I don't know who.
She got
Really, you
nice.
would go for?
Huh?
Really, you would go for Wanda Sykes?
Yeah, why not? That's Wanda Sykes.
Really?
Yeah, that's Wanda Sykes, yo. No,
Okay.
that's what I'll go. I mean, I might as well get something with history.
Yeah, that's true.
You
It'll
know what I'm
rub
saying?
off on you. That's true.
Exactly. And obviously, she's an OG in the game. So, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. I just watched her show the other day, and I mean, I've always loved her, but I like the way she does her style of comedy, of the storytelling and stuff like that. I love that. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
awesome.
Sykes. I just love her. I like her. I like her a lot. I like her a lot. If
Yeah.
there's any female comic, I'll go for her. Or either Simone. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. That's a hard question. That's why.
I know it's a hard ass question, but I ask people that, like, that's why I switched it to famous comics, because, like, I asked a comic the last show that I had on, and she has boyfriends, and she didn't want to like cause problems by saying, because she was like, oh, there's one guy. I'm like, don't you dare say it. Just pick a famous comic and avoid the argument in your house, because it's not worth it to ask that question. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So, do you have any questions to ask me?
Who would you choose? Well, I'm assuming somebody already asked you that. All right, check this out. Right. if they gave you 5 minutes to gather 3 things to take you to Mars, what would it be? Only 3 things. And you're moving there forever. Where you ain't coming back to Earth. That's it.
3. I can only take 3 things.
Only 3 things.
Fuck. My dildo. That's 100. Wait, am I by myself?
I'm just gonna start a civilization. So start a civilization from scratch with the rest of the other people that go with.
Well, then I'm definitely taking The Rock with me because yeah, that's my baby daddy 100%. If we're gonna repopulate the civilization, I'm definitely taking him. Let's see what else. A jar of peanut butter and my cat.
That's dope.
What would you take?
I'll take a machete. How Puerto Rican.
Up there, machete. Stop it.
You never know. Gotta get some aliens. You know what I'm saying? You never know. I'll take a machete. That cassette player, because you could actually play that in space. Got it. And I'm gonna take my Kobe Bryant rookie card.
That's something to be treasured. Really, honestly, that was such a fucking tragedy. I feel like people forgot about that.
Word. No, people forgot a lot of things.
Right after that, it was like Kobe Bryant, and then the world just went to shit right after that. Yeah. So yeah, Kobe Bryant. Besides Michael Jordan, well, actually, Michael Jordan will always be my #1 favorite basketball player. He's just, I don't know, and I love Magic Johnson, but Michael Jordan is definitely he's a god. Like he's something that's just not of this planet. He's just not. And Kobe Bryant was like the second demigod of basketball because I love basketball. Basketball is one of my favorite sports, and I was really looking forward to being able to go to basketball season and to be able to watch basketball games. But I don't know when that's gonna. Like I don't want to watch it. Like the way you feel about comedy is the way I feel about watching basketball on my couch, like this, or not being able to go see it in the stands because I never really did anything like that before. I mainly just went to like basketball games in high school. Shout out to Cold Spring Harbor basketball team because I know they were on fire. They were supposed to be on fire this season and just didn't. Cold Spring Harbor basketball, Syosset basketball, they're nothing compared to Huntington, but Huntington, yeah, no, Huntington is pretty good. It depends on because I know the coaches there, so because I always drive them to all their football games and basketball games and stuff like that, lacrosse games, all that shit. Huntington will always. I drive for Syosset, so they'll always be my favorite. So, sorry, but yeah, so sports and everything like that suck, but we'll survive that. You know, get it on and popping next year.
If there's one.
Cool. Yeah.
If there's a next year.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I really don't know if that's gonna happen. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. We'll see. I think everyone thinks that, but I don't know. This could be the beginning of the end of it all. Right. But at least we're live on Facebook, and I'm recording this, and I'm going to put it on YouTube. So if some alien somewhere finds the computer and they turn it on, they're going to know who you are.
Because the realest alien is Bibble.
Yeah.
You know who Bibble is? Bibble.
Oh no! Stop it. You know, what do Marines sleep in bed? Like, how does a Marine go to bed? Like, what type of pajamas? Now that I know you got that dorky bong over there, I could just imagine what the rest of your room looks like.
Like, no, actually, it's pretty bland. I just have a TV, a couple dressers, and a mattress. That's it. There's really, I'm working. You know, I'm always out. I'm not really home. Now I'm home. Yeah. But, you know, things were popping. It's really nothing. You know, I got, like I said, just my Xbox. That's it. My cat's bed. It's just real simple. I'm not really in my room that much to be having it super, super nice. I just have the credentials, but
yeah.
Most I've ever been in my room in the past few months, and I've been in a long time, but it's actually been good though. I'm enjoying it.
Bonnie says hi. Hi, Antonio Clark. Bonnie Scalisi says hi. Olivia says hello. Yeah, I haven't said Miss Bonnie. I was just talking to Bonnie the other day on the phone, and we're supposed to get together at some point. You know, I don't know. It's just this sucks. I'm so used to like seeing everybody like once a week and like doing things and just hanging out and laughing and stuff like that. And it just really puts it, because we I think before like all this stuff, we used to go to open mics like every single day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The only time we weren't at open mics was we were doing shows Friday and Saturday. That was like the game for like a whole year.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
This is
that really
cold.
sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks. Well, I'm glad that you're still working. I'm glad that you are okay. And
Same for you.
yeah, we'll be okay. And if not, whatever. It is what it is. What do you do? What?
Right. I said everybody's gonna be all right.
Yeah, everything will be fine.
Right.
So, all right. Thursday, I have John Brecco on.
John Beasy.
John Brecco is coming on. Whatever, Olivia. John Brecco is coming on Thursday to say hi to you. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. This has been In Bed with Comics. Thank you so much, Ely Velazquez, for coming on the show. I will see everybody on Thursday. Don't go anywhere.
Peace.